Hello and welcome back to another build video. So today we're gonna go over my Deadeye run and gun build. We can start off by taking a look at the gems. So for our regular mapping, mobbing, we are using armor piercing rounds. And the support gems here are Defy 2, Ambush, Rigwald's Ferocity, Nova Projectiles, and Fork. So basically why we use Defy 2 is because we are using the surrounded tech, which I will get into a little bit later. And Ambush, we are basically scaling crit damage. So Ambush gives us 100% more critical hit chance against enemies that are on full life. Rigwald's Ferocity gives us 20% more attack speed when we have it in weapon set 1, which we do. And Nova Projectiles is where you see the projectiles shooting from all over our body, basically. And Fork. So basically our projectiles fork in between enemies. And our big damage bossing skill is Plasma Blast. Here we use Ambush for 100% more critical hit chance against enemies that are on full life. We use, once again, Defy 2. We use Overextend. And this makes us dazed for 5 seconds when we critically strike, which isn't really that big of a deal. Daze is a debuff that makes us have more stun build-up, basically. But we also get 30% more critical damage bonus, which is the big thing for this support gem. And we're using Garukan's Resolve, and this is a big one. So basically our attack critical hit chance bifurcates, is that how you pronounce it? Which means that the critical hit actually rolls twice. And if both rolls succeed, the critical hit will be twice, or rolled twice, so basically double damage. Very good, very good. And for the last support gem we are using Rakiata's Flow. And basically what this does is it inverts the elemental resistances of our enemies. And we are also using Emergency Reload. And this is a pretty cool one because we basically reload all our bolts and get a buff for 6 seconds that empowers the next shot or the next bolts. And that buff gives us 31% more damage. And in here we use cooldown recovery too, so we have 30% increased cooldown recovery rate. And we also use prolonged duration. So right now the buff duration is 8.1 seconds, and without it is 6. So prolonged duration is pretty good for emergency reload. And then we also have Herald of Thunder, and I wouldn't say this is mandatory. You can actually use Herald of Ash if you want to, or use a completely separate spirit gem. I prefer Herald of Thunder because it looks kinda cool, and it's pretty strong as well. And in here we use Lightning Attunement, Elemental Focus, Concentrated Area, and Vitality for a little bit of life regen whenever we kill enemies. Or no, wait, sorry, this is not when we kill enemies. Cannibalism is when we kill enemies. I should probably switch that, right? Well, we have a companion. And we're using the Frozen Mandible, which gives us the Haste Aura. So we get 20% increased attack speed, and also 10% increased movement speed. And the support gem here is Brutus Brain, so it cannot be damaged, but it can also not deal damage. So we basically have the Haste Aura up all the time, which is nice. And I've also slotted in Wind Dancer, but right now I'm not using it. I don't have enough spirit to do so. Yeah, I prefer Herald of Thunder, but if you want to go a more defensive route, then just activate Wind Dancer instead.
Shocking.
And for our gear, so we obviously run a crossbow, and we scale crit damage. So the most important stats for your crossbow is gonna be to have a high critical hit chance, and also as many plus levels to all projectile skills as you can get. While also having, you know, decent amount of DPS, of course. So you can run something like this, which has a lot of elemental damage. So we both have fire and lightning here. Fire doesn't really do that much to us, but the lightning do. An alternative to this would be running something like this one with higher physical damage instead. I've tested both of them quite a lot, and not actually that big of a difference in between them when it comes to damage output. So whatever you can get your hands on will work. This one obviously has grenade skills fire additional projectile, which doesn't help us at all because we don't use grenades. So if you could get, like, as this one, increased bolt speed, that would be nice. But once again, most important, crit chance and levels to projectile skills. And yeah, as I mentioned earlier, we are running the surrounded tech. So we are using constricted or constricting command with Viper Cap. And this one makes us require 5 fewer enemies to be surrounded. And what this actually does is it makes us surrounded basically all the time. And I will get into more of this later when we go with the passive tree, but there are some really good nodes on the tree that requires you to be surrounded. So we're using that, and for the rings you want to have as much flat damage as possible, so physical damage, lightning damage, and cap your resistances if you can, and squeeze in a little bit of rarity as well, always good. So we are using 2 rings here with rarity, resistances, and flat damage. And for the necklace, you want to have plus to all projectile skills, you want to have increased critical damage bonus, and the rest is kind of optional, you know, like resistances, rarity, defenses, stuff like that. And we are instilling Wild Storm here. There are a few options you can do when it comes to instilling. I will get over or get into that when we go over the passive tree. And body armor, this is a little bit of a personal preference, you might say. The reason we use this specific body armor is because it allocates power shots, which actually gives us 80% increased crit damage bonus with crossbows. That's a pretty big increase. So yeah, there aren't that many on the trade sites. I managed to buy this for like 1 divine, so if you can get your hands on it, it shouldn't be that expensive. But I would prefer to have like a pure evasion here, since we are not really getting into any energy shield. And on the like body armor, as usual, you want to have high defenses, which includes like life, energy shield or evasion, and the resistances. An alternative to this one, if you don't want or can find a good body armor with powered shots, is going to be something like this. Kind of good, like pretty high evasion, get resistances, also a little bit of spirit, so you can run more spirit gems. But personally, I prefer this for as much damage as possible. And for the gloves, we go for flat damage here as well. So physical damage, lightning damage, increased critical strike damage bonus, and resistances, some max life, and we slot in increased attack speed here. What would be optimal, I would say, I couldn't get my hands on it, but would be to have increased increased effect of socketed gems, and obviously 2 sockets with Talisman of Sirius. That would be the best, but this one works really well. And on the belt we are using Darkness Enthroned Fine Belt, and this gives us equipped socketed items as though they were gloves. And this is corrupted, so it goes over 100% to 115. And in here we use Sirius as well, 2 of them. For the boots, we are using increased movement speed, very good, everyone knows that. And we have increased the effect of socketed items here, and this is a personal preference. I use the reduced movement speed penalty from using skills while moving, since we are in like the run and gun theme. It feels good to actually be able to move kind of fast whenever you are shooting. But you could obviously just run movement speed here, if you prefer that. And here you want to have like resistances and defenses. For the charms, we are using a throwing charm, so we cannot, or we get immunity to freeze. And we also have this one, the Silver Charm, the Fall of the Axe. And this makes us unaffected by slows. And then we are using a Rite of Passage Golden Charm, which gives us a rarity when we kill enemies. And gives us the Possessed by the Spirit of the Bear. And this is more of a defensive charm. So we get 20% increased maximum life, 60% increased stun threshold, and increased stun build-up and reduced damage taken by 20%. So I went for this because the defenses of the build are actually not that good. So I tried to squeeze in as much as I could, wherever I could, basically. But you can run whatever charm you want in the third slot. I cannot speak today. I don't know what's going on. So yeah, that's the gear. And also one thing I wanted to mention when it comes to the gems. So when you are in like an indoor map with, you know, tight corridors and a lot of walls and stuff like that, could be good to replace Fork with Ricochet instead, because then the projectiles will kind of bounce all over the walls. Looks cool and works very well. But for open maps, I would recommend still using Fork. And for the passive tree, we are Deadeye. So we go in here and we grab Point Blank, and projectiles deal 20% more hit damage to targets in the first 3.5 meters of their movement. And it's scaling down basically to 0 after 7 meters. We go for the increased projectile speed and obviously additional projectile. And then we go for skill speed, Gathering Winds, so we get Tailwind. We go for increased skill speed and Wind Ward, so 3% less damage taken per Tailwind. And as I mentioned earlier, we are scaling crit, so basically taking as many crit nodes as we can to both get critical hit chance, but also get critical hit damage. So we are currently sitting with the setup we have in the passive tree and the gems on armor piercing rounds. So the critical hit chance is 50%, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when we use ambush, it's actually like 100%. And 586% crit damage bonus here. For Plasma Blast, basically the same. So crit chance is 50%, but again 100% with ambush support gem. And we have a critical hit damage bonus of 762 on Plasma Blast. So yeah, ambush is very good, which makes you don't have to spend too much points reaching the critical hit chance cap of 100%. So we are going here down to the critical damage nodes here, cooked, increased critical damage bonus, and grabbing the crit chance all around there. We go over here for projectile damage within 2 meters. Doesn't really help that much during mobbing, but our mobbing damage is very good. So this is more for the boss damage, the big one-shots. And here again, so within 2 meters we get 40% increased critical strike damage bonus, and also 25% increased damage. We go up here to the companion nodes. Since we are using a companion, you want to make sure you get Inspiring Ally, because increases and reduction to companion damage also apply to you. So it's 22% per one of these nodes here. So pretty big increase in damage. Then again we go to more crit. Up here, more crit. Down here, more crit, and more crit. Up here for even more crit. So basically all in on crit. And then we go down here for some even more crit. We go to the surrounded nodes. So this is why we use the Viper Cap, because we are always surrounded. So we get increased attack speed, we get increased evasion, increased attack damage. And also over here is the big one. Here is 100% increased attack damage while surrounded. And also some smaller 25% here. So surrounded is very good, it's really strong. And for the jewels, we are going for critical hit chance, and the rest is kind of optional, but projectile damage, damage with crossbows, attack speed, all of them are really good. We are also using Heart of the Well, and here is we get increased, or we get extra lightning damage, and also some critical damage bonus. Then we have another jewel up here, with more crit chance, attack damage, chance to poison on hit, and increased magnitude of ailments you inflict. I would probably replace this actually, because we are not scaling any poison or magnitude of poison. So yeah, I'm gonna look into replacing this. Something similar to this down here would be the best to have there. Then we have here, and Against the Darkness, and this gives us 4% extra lightning damage for all the notable passives in range. And up here we have 3 of them. So yeah, basically we get 12% extra lightning damage here. And then we have the last jewel here, increased critical hit chance, increased damage with bows. Doesn't really affect us, but we also have increased damage with crossbows and attack speed with crossbows. So that's it for the jewels. And what I wanted to mention on the instill of Amulet is that we currently have Wildstorms, which gives us 50% more maximum lightning damage. Really good node. And what I would do, if you can't get your hands on a body armor with power shots, I would actually instill power shots instead, which is the node you see down here. So that's what I would personally do. Having them both, as we do in this setup, is obviously the more optimal way to go, but not needed. So that's basically it for the passive tree. And then we can take a look at our regular stats here. So we are currently level 93, and not the best defenses, as you guys can see. Max life is kinda low, evasion kinda low. We are not even capped on resistances, but I feel like it's working pretty well anyway. Like, it's honestly pretty rare that I die, because we have so good damage, so good clear speed and everything. But if you feel like you are dying more than you should, then try to invest a little bit more in defenses compared to what I have done here. Yeah, that's it for the build, guys. Hope you enjoy it, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. I will also provide you in the description a max roll and mobalytics guide, so you guys can follow that if you want to. So thanks a lot for today. See you next time. Take care.